How's it going, guys? I want to make a video on me not making this lightsaber, but showing you kind of the process of how I make my lightsabers. I just got some new resin, so obviously gotta tear this bad boy right open. It's just some water washable Elegoo resin because I got some Elegoo printers. Let's shake this bad boy nice up. Came with a little brush. Pretty cool. I don't really know why they added it, but it's a fun little thing that they added, so yeah. Let's talk about some safety. Got my little lab coat. You don't really need a lab coat for this stuff, but it's just fun to have. I feel real cool when I wear it, and I don't get resin on my clothes, which is nice. Gas mask. Again, you don't have to go this all out, but one with removable cartridges is always really, really good to have. That way you don't have breathing problems later on. But yeah, it's really nice. Makes a huge difference. Gloves are super important. Don't want to get it on your skin. Yeah, so this is my whole little layout. Let's get started by clearing off our little workspace. All right, now we're all cleared up. Let's get our printers all turned on. These are the tools I like to use. I got some snips. I got my scraper for removing prints. Got a little plastic scraper for removing stuff and debris from the vat. I got my funnel for putting excess resin or whatever leftover resin into the bottle. Comes with a nice little strainer, which is nice so that I don't get any extra debris or particulates in the bottles. This is my whole little setup. A little closer look. Got the Saturn 2, the Mars 3 Pro. This is my little wash station right here. Let's open this bad boy up. It's pretty cool. It's got some dirty resin in there, but it's got a little fry oil type of guy in there, so you can wash them around. This is my isopropyl alcohol. Got my cure station. Got this old printer that I never use anymore because it's pretty much broken. Now let's get started here. Gotta put some more resin in here. It's always important to shake it up and make sure it's all nice and mixed up inside the bottle before you pour it in. Gotta peel off the little guy here. Got some resin on my gloves, so I gotta take that guy off, switch it out. You're gonna see this a lot in this video, just me taking off gloves, throwing them away, putting on new ones, just because I just like to be extra safe. You don't really need to do that, but that's just kind of a preference thing. And right here, I got some darker resin from a different company, but it has the same exposure times. So this is just something I found out that you can do. I just wanted to experiment with it and try it out. I've tried it before on my older printer and it didn't work out. It was the same two types of resins that I mixed together, but the older printer, I don't know, I just need to figure that old printer out, mess around with it a little bit more. I was really new to resin printing when I first got it, and I made some prints and then I just kind of stopped using it. Yeah, let's mix this bad boy up. Again, I'm still pretty new to resin printing, but now I have more. And I'm kind of, going through the motions and trial and error, messing around with it. Here I'm just trying to level this kind of out. You don't need to level it out. It's not like as crucial to be level, like the printer, but I just did it anyway because it looked like the vat was uneven. So I wanted to make sure that all the resin in there was just nice and even. Again, I don't know if that really makes a difference. But in my mind, it was just annoying me the way it looked, so I just put some paper towels underneath it to level it out. All right, now let's clean some stuff up, just kind of in between while we're waiting for different things to kind of get ready. I like to clean up my work surface just to make sure everything is, nice and clean, nice and tidy. That way, when I come back to fix things up, I don't come back to just a really gross and disgusting area. So this is the fun part, starting a print. So let's just select our file, go ahead and press print. It's pretty much that easy with resin printing. it's just, you know, it really is for the most part plug and play. Got to level it out obviously, but it's pretty simple. So I got a good print on this one, but obviously on the Saturn II, I got a pretty bum print, but we'll check that out in a second. I'll kind of show you what I mean. Let's get our scraper, remove this print. Obviously my fat head's in the way, but you know, I'm definitely removing the print with the scraper, promise. I'm getting in there. But these are actually really easy to remove because they got a little lip on the bottom for the most part. So that's real nice. Alright, now let's throw these bad boys into our little wash station. So for the wash station, I haven't really figured it out. I think I need to buy a new little brush because after you wash it off, there's a lot of like resin that's still on it. So I'm not saying it doesn't do a good job of getting a lot of the excess resin off of the prints. It just doesn't really get crazy into the details like you might think that it does. So let's check out our Saturn II pretty big print failure here. So yeah, as you can see here, there's a lot just to kind of unpack. The big one is split in half. One of them is just, it's not even there. There was a layer shift, which I don't even know how that happens in resin printing. If you're an expert, you know, let me know. But I have no idea what happened to this print. So I'm gonna have to take it back into the slicer and kind of figure that out. I mean, thankfully I did get one good print out of this. I mean, it could have all been bad, and at least one of them worked out, which is good. So let's just throw this guy into the wash station with the other prints, just kind of let him go. So now let's clean some things up here. Let's get our alcohol out. I'm cleaning off the build plate here just because my plan is to re-level the build plate, because I feel like when I initially did it, I didn't do it really well. The other one worked out. The Mars 3, I've had zero issues with it pretty much. Like everything that's happened has been user error, and it's been fine. And I'm assuming all the like Saturn II stuff has just been user error stuff also, but I just haven't figured it out. So I'm just gonna re-level it and clean everything up. But here, you know, again, clean work surface is a great thing to just have. I'm not gonna lie, this is like 4 days later. I started new prints. I reprinted those middle parts of the lightsaber. One of the prints still didn't work out, and I think that's the last part of the lightsaber that I need. I've printed pretty much all of the parts at this point, except for a couple parts, but for the most part, you know, everything is all in that little wash station. I know you probably are not supposed to put every single part in the wash station at the same time, but it's fine. So while we're in between prints here, I wanted to kind of talk about the fact that I didn't design this lightsaber. I actually found it from a guy online called NERDREBELART on Cults 3D. I thought I'd kind of showcase some of the stuff he's made. He's made a lot of really cool stuff from different video games like Cyberpunk, obviously Jedi Survivor. I think I want to make the blaster from Jedi Survivor next. It just looks really cool, and again, I'm so impressed by the amount of detail that this guy puts into his stuff. And yeah, I mean, I'm coming from a guy who also knows how to design things. Again, just the sheer amount of detail that he puts into his work is it's absolutely mind-boggling. And yeah, I'm definitely going to put a link to his page in this video description, so make sure you go check that out after, and you know, just check out what he has. If he has anything you like, go ahead and give it a download. I also wanted to note that you don't need an SLA printer to print these lightsabers, because these were all printed on FDM machines, and I think they turned out pretty good. All right, so now let's cure the prints. This is most of the parts. The shrouds I already cured, off camera, but a lot of this is just really boring. So I'm gonna set this for 30 minutes because that's just kind of the time frame I like to set them for. You can set them for more. Sometimes for smaller parts you can set them for less, but yeah, I mean, it's not crazy fun to watch. So I'm gonna speed this up a lot just so it goes by nice and quick. So obviously you saw on one of my prints I had a print failure where one of the parts fell into the vat. So when something like that happens, or when any general print failure happens with resin printing, something you want to do is use this little tank clean feature. I never knew about this until actually pretty recently, but it just, it cures a real nice sheet of resin on the FEP sheet, and you can just pry it off. Just listen here. Now, hopefully that was a good bit of ASMR, but if you're not into that, it's all good. So now let's get into sanding these parts. Obviously I'm not going to show you me sanding all of these parts, and this is not how I would normally sand them. Usually I do it in a much more sketchy way and kind of my own little area, sitting down for a while. But this is just to show you guys, I guess what it looks like with me sanding. I'm using this 400 grit sandpaper. You can go higher, but resin just doesn't need a whole, super high grit unless you got really, really big parts you're trying to sand down, which I will actually get into in just a second. But this is, aftermath, looking pretty clean. So here's an example of a not completely flat bottom that I want to sand down. So I'm sanding it down on this piece of granite in my bathroom. If you just can find a really, really flat place to put some sandpaper on and just kind of rub this against it, it should, work out pretty well. I also wanted to point out how cool this curing station is, because, not only does it have two towers that, I guess two twin towers, two towers that, have UV LEDs on them, but it has one at the bottom, has a little strip at the bottom of the turntable so that you can cure the bottoms of prints, which I just thought was really cool that they added, so yeah. So now I'm starting to get my, my prints ready for the rub and buff. So now I'm just kind of, trying to put some black paint in all the crevices so that when I put the rub and buff all over it, it'll get, nice and good. So here I'm starting to put the rub and buff on there. That's kind of a before, and here's an after. See how shiny it is in the light. I'm not saying it looks exactly like just regular, brushed metal, but I think it looks, it looks pretty good. It's pretty close, I feel. So, yeah. Here's just some more parts. I'm getting ready. And everything here is just, secured together with some good old Loctite super glue. Nothing crazy fancy. But yeah, it's starting to come together. Got some parts glued together already. I know I'm getting my fingerprints with just like the rub and buff on them on the grip, but I'm actually, I don't mind it. Here, starting some assembly. It's actually coming together pretty well. I got the little detail parts in there. I got the shrouds all glued to the emitter. That's looking pretty darn good. So let's put this guy right on there. And there you go. There's lightsaber number 1. The second one, I guess the Shoto saber is going to be coming up right up next. All right, so they're all done. Yeah, I got both the sabers here. Got the Shoto and just the regular one-handed saber. They turned out great. So yeah, here's both of them. So I guess let's take a closer look. So here's a better look at the full-size single-bladed saber, or I guess just the single one. I think it looks great. I think it turned out pretty nice. It doesn't look as cool on camera as it does in person. Obviously, you can see the light kind of reflecting off of the shiny parts, but I promise in person it's a lot better. Here's the Shoto saber. I promise this is actually, I'd say even 100% accurate to the video game. I know you might be thinking, oh, why didn't he just make 2 of the big one? Well, this is how it actually looks. Here's the Disney Parks Cal Kestis saber, just for, you know, for example, just for reference. And then here's the Shoto saber, just to show how much smaller it is. Obviously, you know, the Cal Kestis one has a bigger end part, but here's them side by side. Just look at the Cal Kestis Disney one, it looks like a burrito. It's so fat and so huge. But yeah, side by side, I think mine looks pretty darn good. So yeah, I mean, all in all, that's all I got for you. If you want to check out any more of my stuff, I'm on TikTok. I was making this, you know, life-size BD1 that pretty much nobody really cared about, but I put a lot of hard work into it, and I think it turned out great. So yeah, that's all really I've got for you guys. I think in the next video, I'll probably be making Cal Kestis' blaster, so stay tuned for that. See ya.